How far have you gone for a stranger? How have you went out of your way for a stranger? Now, let me ask you this. How far has a stranger gone for you? When have they stepped up on your behalf? That's what I want to talk to you all about today. You all, today I've had one of those days. Hello, everyone. I am Kim, the SME. You are listening to the KimUnity Soulutions podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the workplace. It is so good to be with you all today. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about today. I finished up a project and then I said, let me go and get some things to, improve my decor, improve my background, and all of that good stuff. And so that's what I did today. I was excited. I'm thinking about, okay, it's time to improve. It's time to update. The seasons are changing. My journey is changing. And so it's time for a little upgrade. And that's exactly what I did. And I was not expecting a stranger to come to my rescue. I was not. Now, if I take it back to last week I spoke about how good intentions do not always produce great outcomes. And I talked about that. And I went back into basically how I started this podcast and how I was able to bridge the ideas of the challenges in our personal lives compared to our professional lives. And in doing so, that is what I came up with. If I summed up the challenges that I have faced, it would have been about how good intentions do not guarantee great outcomes. And so I went into detail and I spoke about those experiences of helping people, and it ended up backfiring. I am so excited to tell you all about today. At first, I was upset. That leads me to this week, today, actually. Again, I went to go and get some decor for my background. Hopefully you'll see it next week. And I'm in there shopping, and I am not, listen, decorations is not my thing. I'm the numbers girl. Okay, that's what I'm about. Give me some numbers and I can figure it out. Now, this whole decoration thing that I was trying to do on my own, I'm piecing it together. And so that's what I was doing. I was in this store and I was shopping, and somebody kept coming over the intercom and kept saying, hey, whoever drives a black car, whatever type of car it was, come to the front, come to the front. And so I wasn't thinking about it. I have a black car, but I wasn't thinking about me. I wasn't parked in a handicap section. I wasn't parked in front of the store. Whenever you think of someone being called because they're regarding a car, you think they're parked and handicapped. They're parked in an emergency lane, like they're parked illegally. They're doing something they have no business. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm trying to figure out if this gold goes with this cream to go with this purple. And I'm really just trying to figure out. I was in a zone. When's the last time you've been in your zone? You're just you're in this groove and it's working out for you, and you're just trying to figure it out and finalize it. That's where I was. I finally found the flowers that I wanted. I get up to the cash register, and these two ladies are standing there, but they're standing where you grab your groceries or whatever at the end. So they're not in line. I'm the one in line. They have passed it. They have passed the cashier and everything. And so they got on the intercom again and said, hey, who is driving this black car? Come up to the front. And so I said, I'm driving a black car, but I'm parked over here. And they were like, is that your car? I said, yes, it is. They said, oh, I need to talk to you. And I'm looking like, okay, what's this about to be? Like, it felt like beef to me. It felt like beef. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm trying to figure out, I'm checking the surroundings and seeing, okay, what's going on. And they begin to tell me how they had witnessed somebody hit my car. They have hit my car and then drove off. It was a hit and run. And I said, you've got to be kidding. If you've been listening to my episodes, you know that my daughter had already totaled my car. And we had already gotten it fixed and everything. And they're like, yeah, we saw her. She just rammed into it and then backed up, parked right next to you, and then moved up. And I am just in amazement because at first I'm trying to get a feel of them. And then it went from that to them actually trying to help me. And so I am just like, oh my gosh. So I'm not sure if I had paid for my stuff by then or not. I think I was in the process of paying for my items. And they said, yes, we've already called the police. They are on their way. They said that they would be here shortly and they would pull up by the car. And so I started walking towards the car with these ladies, and I'll call them April and May. Okay. They're sisters. I'll call them April and May. And I walk up to my car, it looks fine on one side. And then the other side is just all the way damaged. And I'm just like, I can't believe this. I can't wait. When I tell my husband, he's not going to believe this either. And I'm processing all of this information. And right off the top, I've talked about triggers before and how you can experience something and then it takes you back to something that happened in the past. And then you start thinking that this is that. This is that. So automatically I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't have insurance. I'm gonna have to run it through my insurance. You know, I didn't say they don't, but I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they have insurance. They probably don't. That's what I'm thinking. At the same time, I'm trying to stay positive because I know how God works. And he's pulled me through in all these other instances. I just didn't want to have anything else on my insurance. I didn't want any more claims. And so I'm just in amazement, like, why would somebody even do that? Are they doing something illegal? Maybe they were drunk. And these two ladies were just telling me, like, no, she even got out the car, and I believe she might have went in the store. I'm still trying to get the whole story. But just to hit somebody's car, damage it, and then drive off, especially in this era of cameras, technology, all of this stuff. And so I just had to thank April and May, like, thank you so much because they went above and beyond. Now, as I'm standing there in the parking lot, right in front of my car, I'm looking at the windshield. And underneath the wipers, there's a piece of paper. And I said, did you all put this paper here? They're like, no, I didn't put this paper here. And so the lady takes the paper from up underneath my windshield wipers, and it is a note. Someone else has witnessed the same person hitting my car, left their license plate number, left their name and number so I can give them a call. And I am just like, oh my gosh. And then as I'm standing there talking to April May, they told me that when they went into the store that I was in, that the cash register lady said that someone had already called them and told them that someone had hit my car or hit a car in the parking lot. You may think that this is minor, right? Thankfully, nobody was in the car or anything like that. But it's deeper than what I'm sharing. I'm trying to unveil it for you. I'm trying to pull it back so you can see how it applies to you in your life. I had just talked about good intentions do not guarantee good outcomes. Basically, by you doing something good, it doesn't mean that's going to be a good outcome. It could cause confusion. It could cause, an enemy. It could cause misunderstanding. It could be bad timing that you acted in good faith, and now it backfires. It could be anything. But in this week, what God is showing me is that, number one, There are people out there that have your back that you don't even know. There are people that are saying your name in rooms and in spaces that you have no idea of. And thank you, Lord. This same day, I get a phone call earlier. I'm going off subject a little bit, same premise. I get a phone call earlier from this group who says they want me to be on their board. Everybody's been asking, saying my name, who should be on there. Are you seeing it? People who you do not know are looking out for you. And they don't even know you. Not only do you not know them, they don't know you, but they have your back. There are good Samaritans out there who are looking out for you. If you watch the news, you just see all of this bad energy, this turmoil, these people that have you know, I don't even know how to phrase it. It's just they're mistreating people, they're taking advantage of them, they're inflicting pain, just all of this stuff. If that's all you're looking at in the news. And I'm sitting here right now, hours after this has transpired, and I'm telling you that outside of what you see, there are people in your corner, and you have no idea. Something could be transpiring on the back end, but God has it on the front end. He puts people in position that will protect you, and they don't even have to know you. And like I said, when they approached me in the store, they're like, "Oh, we got to talk to you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, what's up?" I'm trying to figure out what energy they're on. Count it all joy. Just because you have had some troubling experiences, don't think that this new incident or this new day or this new month is going to happen again, because that is not the case. And don't be so quick to judge. And how are you treating people? When we think of karma, for some reason, we always think about the negative aspect. Okay, you do something negative, and then something negative is going to, happen to them. It's about positive too. This is an example of karma as well. When you do good, good comes back to you. And I really just want everyone to just think about that. Whatever you're going through, you don't have it planned out. You don't have an answer. You're trying to figure it out. You have your pen and paper, whether it's numbers, whether it's money. You're trying to figure out, how is this end going to meet this end? How are you going to fill in the gap? How are you going to get your child from daycare to work? You have a job and your kids are in daycare, but there's this gap. We're not always going to have the answer, but we know who does. And it will get filled. And it's not always something that we planned out. Something will just occur. People will just appear. Help will be present in your time of need. I had no idea. I had no idea my car was even hit. I am in here on this whole other agenda trying to make things happen. And there is something that's already taking place outside of my knowledge, outside of my presence. And people are already standing in the gap for me. They are already filling in for me. You're not always going to have the answer. You're not going to always know how to get from A to B. But know that someone is going to be there to stand in the gap for you, to vouch for you, to put your name in the hat, to open up this position because of what you've done, what you've demonstrated. Even if it wasn't for them, you've done it in another area. It will show up over here. Stop being mad at the people who have hurt you before, and you've done something for them, you've helped them in some way, and they haven't shown that in response. Don't get mad at them. You were able to bless them, and that is a blessing. Don't think your blessing is going to come from that same direction. It can come from elsewhere. They don't even have the capacity to bless you. You want them to do something for you. They don't even have it in them. They don't have the resources. They don't have the energy. They don't have the money. They don't have the time. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the know-how. Don't look for them for your help. It's not going to come from them. It's going to come from somewhere you least expect it. I just wanted to get on here and just share that story with you, share that testimony with you. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, but to sum it all up, the police did arrive. I asked, okay, it's a parking lot. There's got to be cameras around here. I'm looking at them. They should have had all this stuff. And so I'm telling the police officer, like, hey, there's cameras. Shouldn't you be able to pull it? They're like, yeah, but usually you have to go through corporate and all this. I said, okay. I said, well, I still have to go and get my stuff out the store. And I'll go ahead and ask for the manager and see if they can roll the tape. So I go in there and I asked the cashier, and she said, okay, well, let me call my manager. And then the manager basically told her it would have to be requested from the police officer. I was like, okay, perfect. They are outside. I'll go get them. I'll let them know. So I went and told them. We went and watched it. We saw the car. We saw the license plate. And I had no idea what they were doing because I'm looking at the cameras. And then towards the end of this being in the manager's office, the police officer says, okay, but yeah, we have some bad news for you. And I'm like, I haven't even left. I'm right here. I'm looking. Like, yeah, she done drove off. This person is driven off. She's like, yeah, these tags don't even match this car. The tags don't match the car. The tags don't match the car. You've got to be kidding me. Here we are. I'm thinking, okay, I'm worried about insurance because the last time the other person didn't have insurance. But now you're telling me that the tags don't even match the car. Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? And so I'm just standing there like, I can't believe this. And so I'm asking them, okay, well, what's the next steps? Can you look at the other footage? Can you look at the cameras? All these flock cameras you guys have, out here these days, you should be able to track them all over the place. Like that's not even an issue anymore. So they were saying that they would see what they could do. And so I finished taking pictures of my car. I called my husband. He's like, ain't no way. You cannot be serious. It's like, yeah, I'm serious. I get home and I'm just trying to process all of this. Like, okay, I'm trying to think of all the positive. When you're in these situations, you can't just fall out. You can't just give up. I'm like, okay, well, at least the car drives. At least, it's not making the tire scrub. I do have an appointment tomorrow. I'm going to look a little odd, but it's not, I didn't do it. Thankfully, nobody was in the car. And so I'm just like, okay, well, thank you, Lord. Then I'm still looking at this paper that was left on my windshield and I haven't called them yet. I'm like, okay, well, at least there are at least 3 different parties who have showed up on my behalf, not including the police officers. And I'm wondering, would I have done the same thing? You see, somebody left me a note. Somebody called the store. but only one of those called the police. Which one are you? Which one are you? Are you the one that will leave a note on the car? Are you the one that will make the phone call? Are you the one that will call the police and then wait for them? And you see, the thing about these sisters, and I asked you all at the beginning, how far will you go for a stranger? They could have called the police and left, but they didn't. They called the police. They stayed there. They went in the store and had them call for the owner of this car several times. They called for them several times. Well, for me, that I didn't know. So, and they waited and they waited and they waited. And this is a parking lot that has multiple stores. They went above and beyond. I talked about last time exceeding expectations. They exceeded expectations. They waited until I was actually checking out. I had did all these all this shopping. I had went from one aisle to another, then back to another because I had changed my mind. And they are still in the store waiting. And then they said, we'll walk you to the car so you can see. And then they said, we'll wait for the police. And then they said, we'll leave a statement for you. I'll give you my phone number. Call me if you need anything. How far will you go for a stranger? How far will you go for a stranger? Some people won't even do that for their own family, for their coworkers. They would just say, man, that's messed up. Don't think you're suffering in vain. Don't think that you are suffering in the dark. You are troubled in the dark. You are troubled alone. No, there is somebody that is speaking on your behalf, that is praying for you when you don't even realize it. They are saying your name in rooms that you don't even know exist. Your name is on a list, and you are next to get blessed. I am your host, Kim the SME, speaker of my experiences. But now listen, this is what I've learned. In all of these episodes, I thought I was talking about people. People. But when you sum it all up, and this is what I didn't get to the last time, when you sum it all up, I'm actually talking about communication. How we talk to each other, how we treat each other with our words and our actions and our inactions and our silence and our delay and our assumptions. I've been talking about communication this whole time. And this incident today is another example of communication. The different ways, the written note on the car, the call in to the store, the face-to-face one-on-one, it was actually two-on-one, the escalation, the reporting, the statement. Everything I've been talking about is communication. I am the communication accountant. What I do is I identify and reduce the hidden cost of communication because it cost us. It cost us. I could have assumed the worst of those two people, but I didn't. The person who was on the intercom could have said, they're not in here. I'm not going to report this again. I'm not going to, call for them again. It's all about communication. We have to get this right. That's how we connect. I hope if you're still listening and you're going through something, or you're waiting to hear something, you're looking for something to work out in your favor, it's coming. It's coming. As a matter of fact, there are people out there who aren't even going through anything, but God is already orchestrating the back end. You may not know it, but you may face some troubles next week, next month, next year. And God is already orchestrating people that will be there when you arrive. Be there when it occurs. Have eyes on the situation. Have ears on the situation. We are all on time, and it's all orchestrated, and we just all have to play our part. Communication is how we connect. How far will you go for a stranger? Until next time, you all, be blessed. Please check out my, subscribe to this channel, follow KimUnity Soulutions on IG, just all social media. Until next time, you all, be blessed. Bye-bye.